My practice is really centered on working with First Nations and working with people that want to do business with First Nations. And so my practice is actually transitioned. I started in commercial real estate, and since 2006 I practiced in renewable energy as well, and more recently I work in natural resources with First Nations dealing with mining issues in their communities. I chose this area because my background is First Nations. I'm Mohawk and Ojibwe, and I was actually born in Toronto, and I just really always wanted to work with First Nations communities, trying to figure out ways to take what I had learned and the great area that I grew up in and try to figure out how that could be transposed into our First Nations communities. I value the opportunity that I had to study law, to practice law, and I value really the opportunity that it has given me to think big, to dream big, to work in an area where we can basically encounter and challenge any obstacles that we want. And also, though, I really value my support network and the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I would say the pinnacle of my career so far has been the opportunity that I had to join Willms and Shier. They found me and invited me to join their practice, and it was a challenge for them. They were an environmental law firm, and my practice was very much a transactional lawyer in commercial real estate and working with First Nations. And that was really a pinnacle moment because I was joining a firm that I would be the only Aboriginal commercial-based lawyer at that firm. And they really gave me a platform, and the sky's been the limit since. The best piece of advice I've ever received from a mentor was to really dig deep, to immerse yourself into the work that you're doing, to know that you really need to spend those hours, that you've really got to be there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night in the beginning stages of your practice, and obviously that never ends, but that was really the biggest lesson that I learned because I really had to throw myself into my work to get to where I am today. My pro bono activity is very meaningful to me because it drives my practice entirely. I work with First Nations communities, and in the area that I practice in, my main goal is to focus on promoting economic and environmental sustainability for First Nations communities. And that inevitably involves a lot of policy work. And so there'll be work that I do that is pro bono, but it's really driven around focusing on policy and trying to promote governmental change to create different types of programs that will help First Nations communities. So it becomes the trigger for the future work that I do, but it's also the hard work that not everybody can do, so I really value that opportunity.